RFK Jr. is probably going to be the toughest appointment for Trump to get through, him or Tulsi Gabbard. But it's great that we got Pete Hegseth by the tie-breaking vote with J.D. Vance. We're going to go into exactly what RFK Jr. is up against. It's the massive pharmaceutical industry. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. I've got an article here from The Federalist. It's fantastic, and it reveals everything about the coming fight. Okay, let's do this. The senators who will vote on RFK Jr. have raked in millions from the pharmaceutical industry. This is by Tristan Justice. He does great work on this. I have grown to become quite a fan of Kennedy and the idea of his health care, wanting to make America healthy again. Stocks for food and pharmaceutical industries plummeted Friday immediately upon President-elect Donald Trump's nomination of RFK Jr. to lead the Department of Health and Human Services. That's HHS. The stock market's already showing they're afraid. When food and pharmaceutical industries plummet, that should tell you everything you need to know. If confirmed as head of Health and Human Services, Kennedy will oversee a nearly $2 trillion department responsible for the administration of federal health insurance programs in addition to regulatory agencies governing food and medicine. Guys, $2 trillion, that is the means of all of Trump's appointments. Kennedy is responsible for more money distribution, that $2 trillion than even Hegseth is over the military and the Pentagon. Health and Human Services holds jurisdiction over the National Institutes of Health, the NIH, the Centers for Disease Control, which of course Fauci went nuts on, and Prevention, the CDC, and Food and Drug Administration, FDA. That's getting foods approved that you can eat or not eat, making HHS a priority recruitment ground for the pharmaceutical companies' revolving doors of influence. Kennedy, who ran for president and then campaigned for Trump as a chief antagonist of Big Pharma, has the industry bracing for generational changes, threatening Wall Street's bottom line. Trump, if anything that he's going to be known for, has a disruptive administration. It's a reformation, reforming the government from something that is corrupt. Now, why would Trump, his administration, change our taxes, change the military and reform it, change the IRS and reform it, remove DEI, widespread changes? Why would it not affect Health and Human Services, most of all, given they have the biggest budget? Lawmakers on the Senate Finance Committee, however, will vote first on Kennedy's nomination after they raked in hundreds of thousands of dollars in contributions from the pharmaceutical industry, now concerned about Kennedy's plans to gut predatory advertising practices and eliminate taxpayer subsidies. That predatory advertising practices will tell you what the real economy is of Big Pharma. If you ever watch TV, go watch Fox News. You know, we've all seen all of the pharmaceuticals being advertised, Ozempic, and you can just name all of them, antidepressants, blood pressure medicine. And there's so many of them. They're the ones that always have may cause, bleeding diarrhea, dizziness, depression, suicide. They always have to do those boilerplate messages afterwards that tell you everything you know about pharmaceuticals. But the fact that they're on every network, because there's a reason for it, when networks sell their advertising space, okay, it's an auction. That is, the highest bidder gets to come in and take that slot. And no one's making more money and has more money than pharmaceuticals. So they can push out even like Nabisco and Hershey's, and Lunchables and ExxonMobil ads. You tend to see more pharmaceuticals because of that whole industry. They're beating out all the other buyers and just taking over all news advertising. Well, one of the things that RFK is proposing is making all pharmaceutical advertising on TV illegal or highly regulated. And that's why they're all flipping out. But there's more, because they've bought and sold a ton of our government through lobbying and through paying for their campaigns. And that even digs deep into Republicans, even deep into the South. We have specific names. While most Republican senators have remained largely silent on how they might vote on Kennedy's confirmation, pharmaceutical lobbyists are almost certainly calling lawmakers right now behind our backs in private after drug money lined campaign coffers of both parties. So they have bought and sold our representatives. According to a Federalist analyst of industry donations to members of the Senate Finance Committee, compiled by Open Secrets, pharmaceutical companies contributed more than $6.7 million between 2019 and 2024 to lawmakers who will determine whether Kennedy gets a full vote by the upper chamber. Republican senators took in more than twice as much industry money, though 5 members were excluded from the Federalist analysis because 2 lost their recent races. 2 are retiring, and 1, Senator George Helmy of New Jersey, was appointed just a little over 2 months ago, so they couldn't get data on them. Senator Catherine Cortez Masto of Nevada was the highest recipient of pharmaceutical money among Democrats on the committee, having gotten nearly $460,000 over the last 5 years. Cortez Masto was followed by New Hampshire's Maggie Hassan, who got more than $360,000, and Oregon's Ron Wyden, who took in nearly $350,000. Look, I know that doesn't seem like much money, but that can be a majority of your advertising donations if you're running a campaign. Some of them really are operating at those low margins. These are also all the names of Democrats, which I expect will universally vote against RFK Jr., a recent former Democrat. So that just goes to show, look, you don't fall in line, you're not going to get the money. Now, far more interesting, on the Republican side, Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina has benefited the most across all members of the Finance Committee with more than $675,000 in contributions. Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana came in a close second of the committee with more than $660,000 in pharmaceutical receipts. And Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina came in third with nearly $564,000. This is a very strange message that I'm reading about the South. To my people in the South, whom I love and respect, I just now signed up at my church to go to Dalton, Georgia again this year and help the poor do rebuilding on their houses. We love the South. But look who's compromised here. North Carolina, Louisiana, South Carolina, just raking in pharmaceutical money, including our good man, Senator Tim Scott. Doesn't always mean immorality has happened, just means, look, they're getting paid. Now, if one of these 3 votes against RFK Jr., we're going to all hell is going to unleash on these Republicans. We're going to let them have it, including I'm going to publicize their phone numbers where you can call into them and make sure. Republicans overall brought in nearly $5 million from the pharmaceutical industry across 13 members, while Democrats just over $1.7 million across 9. So Republicans are over double the amount of money that we've gotten from pharmaceuticals than Democrats have. While lawmakers have raised millions from pharmaceutical companies anxious about Kennedy presiding over the nation's premier public health agency, such donations do not necessarily mean senators are inherently compromised. True. Republican Senator Ron Johnson, for example, who received more than $124,000 from the industry over 5 years, has held a series of roundtables critical of the industry in the aftermath of the coronavirus lockdowns. Johnson's most recent event featured a panel led by RFK Jr. in September. If America fails, Kennedy said to the Senate roundtable, quote, "The chief reason will be because we let our country get sicker, more depressed, fatter, and more infertile as an increasing rate while crippling our national security, bankrupting our national budget with health care costs." Now, who out there is against this? I just want to talk to my people who might have a problem with RFK Jr. or going after the pharmaceuticals. Many of you are probably on prescriptions right now. Just notice, while the pharmaceutical prescriptions have gone through the roof, That is, while the drugs that we're using to treat ourselves are going through the roof, we've gotten sicker. The numbers show it. Depression through the roof, fatter, obesity off the scales, more infertile. That is, we're getting less healthy the more we rely on taking a pill to get healthier. This could be a long-term good, though it might temporarily bring in some shock and awe when we realize you don't get to cure everything with a pill. I love pharmaceuticals, okay? I love the ones that save people's lives, but oftentimes they're misprescribed to people that don't need them or shouldn't have them. And I see it all the time, even with my own family, as I observe their prescriptions. Quote, every major pillar of the U.S. healthcare system, as a statement of economic fact, Kennedy said, makes money when Americans get sick. Johnson already announced his support for Kennedy's confirmation. Quote, I think he'll do an extraordinary job because it's kind of hard to refute the truth, and he'll be laying out many truths, Johnson told a local Wisconsin radio program. So this is overall good news. The bad news is RFK Jr. is going to have a tough time. And these pharmaceuticals putting pressure on Republicans who might be on the borderline going, I'm going to lose half of my campaign donations. We have to strengthen RFK Jr. Keep the pressure on. We're praying for him. I'm praying for his success because I really do believe through health, he can help save people's lives. That's not asking too much to get people off the pills that are making people sicker. What do you guys think? I mean, I went to the doctor myself, my own nurse practitioner, who said, oh, your cholesterol, it's a little up. We can get you on, they're already trying to get you on pills. And I just said, hard no, I'd rather die. I'm dug in exile. Look, you can subscribe right here and you can look at another video right here.